Namaste, yogis. Welcome to the Happy Jack Yoga Podcast, episode 150. I'm Happy Jack, live from Govardhan Eco Village in Maharashtra, India. And I'm live with the dream catcher herself.
Happy Hanna, and I'm coming at you from Oslo, Norway today.
And she's got a dream catcher. Again, for those who are got audio, not video. And yeah, so happy to be here. We didn't have an episode last week because I was on a pilgrimage with really no Wi-Fi, and we thought to do episode 150, it's special for the two of us to be together, and I think very auspicious here from the Govardhan Eco Village, where many of the community is going to be gathering in less than 2 weeks. Just can't wait. Can't wait for you guys to experience this. It's just truly magical. But we've got an episode ahead and lots of reflections. Before I jump into the past, 10 days of deep pilgrimage in Mother India, the other side of the continent, what's on your heart, Hanna? With regards, you're in the middle of trauma-informed yoga. Give us a taste.
Well, my heart is always filled with gratitude because I get to do such meaningful work. It's meaningful to me. And we talk a lot about mental health and meaning actually. Like if our processes are painful, but there's purpose in the pain, meaning, then we can do so much better. And we are in the trauma informed teacher training, we're discussing about how to create spaces where it's safe to explore deeper meanings, have a deeper conversation with the universe, be in dialogue with our sense of God or universe. And it feels just, it fulfills me and fills my cup and it runs over.
Your cup runneth over.
Yes.
Nice. I love that. I love that we're talking about meaning. What I love is that this idea of meaning, it transcends just psychology and the work you're doing, or just yoga, or just personal development, or just spirituality. Because, just tying in a few pieces here, a month ago or a few weeks ago, I was in Los Angeles with the Tony Robbins team, and our lead trainer said something. He said something, just kind of off the cuff. He's like, "I don't get sick. I detox." And so he has the, he has the same thing that you and I have, Hannah, and all the rest of us. He catches a cold or a virus, but he doesn't make it mean. He doesn't say, "I am sick." The language he uses is that I'm detoxing. My body is healing. And so it's the same experience, but just a different meaning he gives it. And I had that experience, this past 10 days at the spiritual pilgrimage, right? It was, after I think day 4 or 5 or something like that, I started getting a little bit sick. And, because this is, by the way, very different experience than what those of you who are coming to India, we're going to be in this nice, cushiony ashram, and, nobody's going to get sick, I'm quite sure. But at this particular, it's 12,000 people in the dusty fields. It's like dusty and hot and no air conditioning and fans blowing, and smoke from the fires and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of a perfect storm. And so my body got a virus or whatever. But the meaning I gave it is like I'm detoxing, which is what my Tony Robbins trainer said. But also I felt like I'm purifying. Like this is a purification. This is this idea of karma in yoga, where we pick up karma and we process karma. And I've made silly decisions in my life, and there's karma that I've got to burn off. And so I'm just seeing it as like, this is a time to surrender. And so I love that, whether it's in your trauma informed yoga therapeutic work, or it's our spiritual path, these experiences, whether it's as simple as a little cold, or of course something much bigger, much even tragic, it's this idea of nothing has any meaning except the meaning that we give it.
Yeah, I love that. And I love how you kind of experience that in like as purifying. And I think a helpful question to those listening when you think about like, okay, so how do I make that happen? One question we can ask ourselves is, what is life asking of me right now? And then we get to define that and look for that in our own ways, like what aligns with us, what sounds and feels like true. And a virus could be asking of you to open your heart and be present and just live the experience as a sense of like purification, and like you were framing it differently. So then I want to,
Yeah, I felt that.
yeah, you go ahead.
No, sorry, I think just a little delay. That's exactly what I found myself doing. And so I saw it as an invitation to surrender, to slow down. And it gave me insight. And actually, I think our community here who are coming to India soon, Sarah and George, Cece, Renee, and others who are not live with us, you'll appreciate, the schedule that I created and Hanna contributed to because I've been here. So the schedule we created for this retreat is incredible. It's so amazing. And there's part of me, I can't wait to share it with you. But as I'm reflecting on it now, there's a lot. And so knowing that also part of what contributed to like my depletion at this, when you got 12,000 people, you kind of have to keep a full program. You can't have idle time because there's always somebody who's ready to go. But we've obviously got a more small, intimate group, and so I'm going to be taking a look at this schedule over the next week, and still, fulfill the outcomes and give us a very rich, full experience, but maybe with just a little bit more space, because we've all been at programs where you feel like you're kind of like rushing to the next thing, rushing in, and we don't want to create that experience. We want there to be space. What is it? Space, grace, and space. Was it that Don used to say?
Mm.
And so I feel like there's an inspiration there, and for me, it was an opportunity to surrender, to slow down, to take a day and just lay in bed and read.
Mm.
I sometimes like I just love that. It's like I actually felt so grateful. Just like I'm so happy that I'm not out in the big tent with 12,000 people right now. I'm happy that I'm laying in bed and reading, and the lecture is recorded, so I'll catch that. And yeah,
Yeah. I think that's really good news for the yogis coming to India. Because Happy Jack is an intense man and he has a lot of big plans. And you are known to fill schedules. Anyone who ever did a 200-hour with us in person, like there was time to sleep, but just the exact amount of hours, and
yeah,
every day is.
and that's how it was here too. Because you're like, I had the schedule, starting quite early, and you're like, let's start just half hour later. Let's give them an extra half hour to sleep, and so we've done that. We're still getting up to start at 5:30, but
So
it's
Jack is now describing the schedule for the participants of the retreat, right?
yeah,
To start
yeah,
half an hour later, and that means at 5:30.
yeah. Of
Uh,
course, one day we'll start at 4:30 for a special day, but
course.
we will have some meaningful breaks in each morning and each afternoon as well. Yeah. So, but I love that meaning.
Meaning is everything. I love it.
Yeah.
And just to come back to the retreat, of course, it's people can choose to participate as much or as little as they want. And if someone needs to sleep in, they're totally welcome to. So taking that pressure and that layer of meaning away. But
Yeah, exactly. And I think though, like because there's so many, I think it's this like FOMO thing. Like there's so many rich experiences that one could have here. And I create my first draft of the schedule was such that we got to do everything. But I think that it's a little bit too much. I don't think we need to do everything. I think let's do 80% of it or 75% of it thoroughly and completely and not rushed And I mean, we're going to come back next. We come back here every year,
Mhm.
and of course, on people's free time, if they feel particularly compelled to experience something, they could go and do one of these things that is not officially on the schedule. So I think that's how we're going to handle that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good plan.
Yeah. So stay tuned. I've just been, even as the podcast was starting, messaging and finalizing some details for the retreat. But also just being, and we're going to have a call this weekend with the group, and which is 1 week before everyone arrives, and just have a chance to really prepare ourselves. The retreat, no problem. I mean, you fly in, get picked up, whisked away, into the retreat center, so it's all good, it's all smooth. But there's something, I wanted to talk a little bit about like the drive from Mumbai, you know, two 2 hours without traffic. So give yourself three and a half. Um, and so that drive to the retreat center, the eco village, and just experiencing incredible, unbelievable Mother India. Like this is my 10th time. I kind of added it up. It's my 10th time, 10th trip here. Sometimes I've come for like a year, or half a year, months, and sometimes shorter. And it's still my jaw still drops. It's just unbelievable. The things that you see. You just wouldn't see it in the West. And what I wanted to pre-frame everybody, like as you get a couple hours on the way here and a couple hours on the way back. And we likely will do a little, day trip into a village. But for the most part, we're in an ashram, nourishing space. But just wanted to invite everybody to think about that as you experience it, and to see the beauty, because it's easy to see. It's so easy to pick out and notice things that we traditionally would consider not beautiful, right? Whether it's dusty or dirty or a little bit of garbage or pollution or population, or it's easy to pick up on the things that are traditionally not picturesque. But when you really look and you really see the smiles, or the, I don't know, just so much, the animals, then the beauty is there, and it's just layers below. So I'm excited for everybody to have this experience very soon.
Okay, what did you see on your ride, we wonder?
You can't make this stuff up. Like you can see a scooter going by, a family of five, and there's like the father driving, and then a couple of kids, and then the mother, and then an infant, and they'll be like sitting sideways, and like nobody's got helmets, and they're like racing through the traffic, and and so there's 3 lanes of traffic, but there's like 3 official lanes, but there's like 6 lanes of cows, dogs, humans, scooters, tractors, bulls, bicycles, big trucks, cars, motorcycles, everything. And it just all crisscrossing, and children playing on the side of the highway, a family of cows, just sleeping on the highway, and everybody just goes around them. I mean, just like it's just wild. It's and there's just so many. There's billions of people. There's over a billion people. There's, I'm sure, billion animals or more. And it's just somehow organized, divinely organized chaos.
I like that.
Yeah.
The divinely organized chaos. I think that should be our episode name.
Yeah. It sounds like life.
Sounds
I,
like
th- I think life, right? Life is divinely organized chaos. It's, and that's the cool thing about the yogis here, the bhakti yogis. They see everything as mercy, divine mercy. There was a lady who spoke this past week at the retreat, at the pilgrimage, and she was like 80 years old, and she had been on one of the little daily pilgrimages, and she fell, and she was using a cane, and she's like, by the Lord's mercy, I fell and now I'm using this cane and just so grateful. And I'm thinking, like, how many people, how many 80-year-olds are just like in gratitude because the Lord allowed them to fall and hurt themselves and have to use a cane, and what a blessing. I don't know the exact meaning. I didn't pick up on the story, but like, for me, getting a little bit sick is like allows me to slow down and lay in bed and read. So I don't know her exact thought process, but she was just blissfully in gratitude and laughing. Haha. Versus
Leaping
some people
along.
might be kind of disappointed or something if they fell and hurt themselves.
Yeah, yeah. And she was happily limping along with her cane.
Yeah.
Do you
And
find it
it's
like
like,
inspiring when you witness someone like that and seeing their faith be so strong?
yeah. Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing is being again in the community with people with such deep faith. I was messaging today with our good friend Professor Edwin Bryant because I met his god brother in Vrindavan on the weekend, and so I took a photo, sent it to him, and so of course I'm thanking him. Yeah, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you planting seeds, and but I at the near the beginning of this retreat, this pilgrimage, 12,000 people. And so a person who I know, Radhesham Prabhu, who spoke at our Bhakti Yoga conference, he was leading this particular mantra chanting. And so I was standing right next to him at the very front. And as he was standing, I was standing beside him, and Radhanath Swami was just a couple feet away. And then essentially behind us are 12,000 people. And so he sings on his little microphone, and then 12,000 people together are like chanting these mantras that I'm familiar with. And I just broke down and had this emotional flood of gratitude. It's like uncontrollable, beautiful, because I felt like feeling the power. This was the beauty of the volume of people, but thousands of people behind you, like you just feel the energy of their devotion, and it was just like flooding me, and I just thought of like every person that's been a part of my spiritual journey. From you, Hanna, when we met, I was not spiritual, you were, to Edwin Bryant, to the list goes on and on. All of these people who I met at the right time, who planted a seed, who introduced me to something, and I just feeling this wave of support behind me. I just thought of like, that idea of we stand on the shoulders of our teachers or of others, and it's like none of us would be where we are if it wasn't for not just one teacher, but like so many, starting with our mother and father, or our parents or our caregivers, or and and on from then. So that was definitely a beautiful moment. Just it's just like, and moments like that just take you right out of your head and into your heart. Because I was still a bit jet lagged, so a bit disoriented, figuring my way. It was like the start of the retreat, and just have an experience like that, and essentially focusing on things that we're grateful for, and oh, felt so present. It's
Wow.
beautiful.
Experiences that take you from your head to your heart is something that I feel like you've been yearning for as long as I've known you. When you and I met, you were busy teaching heart opening workshops around the globe. Like that's what you did. And that's what you wanted to do. Like that was your main focus when I first met you. And I think that we teach what we need to learn in that way, that that's what we're fascinated about and it feels meaningful perhaps, right? And to hear you have that experience um seems to be like something that you in one some way or another, like in some unexplainable way, have been searching for.
Yeah, it's true. It's careful what you wish for, careful what you focus on, right? It's true. Well, I did doing the heart opening workshop. my heart opened. I met Hanna, and that
Heart
started something.
open.
But that was a chapter, and then whatever happened. Um,
It
no,
goes
but
in
then
any
now I wonder what am I as you were saying that I'm like, what am I teaching now? I honestly don't know if I teach anything. I've been thinking about that. Like, even this retreat, I'm talking to the different people here, and they're like, oh, like you're gonna be teaching them this, and I'm like, you know what? I don't consider myself like an expert in bhakti yoga or really anything. And some people could argue that, you just went to school or whatever. But I think we love bringing people together and in community and creating connection, and then bringing in other resources. That's the thing. There's so many people who are way more qualified. And that's my laundry, by the way. So eventually they'll go away, or I'll just have to get my laundry. But yeah, there's so many other people here who are just way more qualified, and so we're going to bring them in to meet with the students. And so I think that's yeah. So I was thinking about that, like when we met, what, 10 or 12 years ago. I was teaching heart opening workshops because I needed to open my heart. How would you describe that, Hannah? What am I teaching now? Am I teaching anything?
I
And
love
what do I
that.
need to learn?
Well, go get your laundry. I can answer in the meantime if you want.
I would actually do that, except I'm only in my underwear right now. I'd
Turn
have
the
to turn off
camera
my
off.
video also.
Turn it off.
I think they went away. They went away. I'm all my laundry, like, all my
Oh,
shorts. They're boxers, but still, I'll save the community, and
I
I'll
love
just I'll just listen to them talking Hindi outside my door.
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I love that you would ask yourself this, that like that's where your mind and your heart, now that your heart is open, jumped to, that
yeah,
you asked yourself, what am I teaching now? That's a beautiful thing. And then I love even more your answer where you said, I don't know that I teach anything because I don't consider my expert in anything. And I think that is like a very powerful response for someone who likes certainty and control. As a person, as you seem to be in the past, you were very
yeah,
much about planning. And it's not like I don't think you will ever stop planning or organizing, but it's a
no,
superpower to say that. Like, of course, you always have lots to share, and you know so much. You've done so much training. Like, I even think about like just your journey with Tony Robbins. Like, you know so many tools for interventions in business and life coaching and your spiritual practice and all the thousands of hours of yoga teacher training that you've taken over the years. And everything that you've kind of exposed yourself to. And yet you say, what am I even teaching? I don't think I'm teaching anything. That is really beautiful. It's very humble and open. And the reason why I say that it's beautiful is because a lot of people have a hard time with not knowing. And so we overcompensate and we try to control. That's where all of the anxiety is born from, that we feel like we need to put things into a package and that we need to have our shit together and have the bullet points in place. And someone who just graduated from a master's in at Harvard Divinity School, even, it's just so refreshing and liberating to hear that it's an open question for you. It's an open inquiry. You don't have to define it here as the expert. Like, yes, of course, we have an online teacher training platform. That's what Happy Jack Yoga is. It's an on demand teacher training portal. But more than that, it is a community that walks with you through all of your witnessing of your own life. And that's not teaching, and it doesn't have to be. And I love that. Beautiful.
Yeah, it sounds like they're knocking again. They'll get the hint though. It sounds like you're describing a jack of all trades versus a master. What do they say? I'm a jack of all trades, but master of none. Yeah, so I know a little bit of Tony, a little bit of spirituality, bhakti, yoga, this, that. I mean, of course, you or I are all of the people. I'm looking across this legendary row of teachers we got just on the call here right now. We all do have expertise and we all have something to offer, and we could put together a framework. And Sarah and George have like expertly taught simplicity and wealth, and different people have taught different things. And we've done that as well. But I guess maybe the thing that I love most is the aspect of creating the community and seeking, like asking questions and being in inquiry and finding myself and discovering myself. Like I could stop now and do like no more reflection and probably do a pretty good job to describe who I am and what I believe and what my vision is, and it's probably, I got a good sense of it, but I'm not, but I don't feel like I'm ready to just like draw the line and start teaching this is who I am and this is what I believe. I feel like I'm still in this space of discovery and uncovering and inquiry. um I just heard the scooter drive away. That's nice. Yeah, just in this place of of inquiry, and it's a good space to be in. And yeah, I think like you said, I mean, I do love certainty, and and that, but I don't know, there's something about this surrender. This is a quality of bhakti yoga, right? Of letting go, of surrendering, and then having faith, having faith and finding good meaning. Instead of sickness, I'm detoxing, I'm purifying, and instead of falling and hurting myself, I'm receiving the divine mercy. I don't have to use this cane. I get to use this cane, right? I know we're just joking here,
Yeah.
but it's this part of the spiritual journey.
Yeah, and what I love about what you're sharing when it comes to the lady with the cane, it sounds like it's authentic. It's not spiritual bypassing.
Yeah.
It's not positive,
No.
toxic positivity thinking. It's not
No.
um it's not about lying or deceiving, but truly shifting a perspective and being open in the heart space, I would say, and in the mental space to experiencing what is right here as and exploring what else is true. Like, how can I, you know, receive this experience and let it teach me something?
Yeah.
let it show me something, right?
That's it. And another really nice experience that I got to have here, because you guys, I've shared on previous episodes that like my relationship with seva and service, and in particular menial service. Like, of course, we do our projects and Happy Jack Yoga in one way. In many ways, we're doing lots of nice seva projects and service. But when it comes down to the cooking, the cleaning, that kind of stuff, it's not like my go-to. I get excited about. But I committed to myself and I said, you know what? I'm here, and I'm gonna do some menial service. And
What's
and so I,
menial? What's menial?
like, it means like kind of, because any big project is a service, like running a yoga school or hosting a conference, or those are big services. But menial is like cleaning the toilets or washing the dishes, like just simple tasks. It's not like there's not, yeah, just like you don't really get a lot of um you actually do get a lot of respect in this environment. But it's not like you're not this. It's, yeah, this big shot that, I'm the dishwasher or I'm the toilet scrubber, right? It's kind of like stuff that many of us just consider like, oh, I have to do it. So so I spent the first couple of days just kind of seeing like, okay, there's people here who are serving food every day, and then they're serving my food and I'm eating it. And then there's people here who are collecting the dishes, and they're collecting my dishes every day and they're washing them. And then these people are doing that. So I was kind of observing, and then Gauranga Prabhu, who spoke at our Bhakti Yoga conference and who are coming here, he invited me. He's like, tomorrow is a very special day. It's the disappearance day of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And he said, come to the kitchen for 7 a.m. And I'm like, I'll be there. Cool. And I'm like, I'm open to anything, whatever he's got. I'll wash dishes. Yeah, I'll bring it on. And so I got there, put on my apron, my hat, or a little cap to keep my hair out. And it's called a mega kitchen. This place is amazing. Like, it has like train tracks around, and they're moving around the pots are 500 liters. So sorry if you got to convert that to your whatever your 500 liters, no matter what. That's just a big, yeah, exactly, Sarah. It's like this. It's like, you could fit 6 people in it, and that's one pot for cooking one. And if they'll do like 3 of those for the lentil dal and 3 of those for the this and that. Anyway, long story short, I got to make this vegetable sabji, and it was like close to 2 hours, somewhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours, that I was just stirring this big, huge. 2 of us were just stirring with basically like a canoe paddle. It was huge, but we had like 2 canoe paddles basically, and we're stirring for an hour and a half. And they had it all figured out. They'd come over with their buckets. And I will just say, one thing that did surprise me, but maybe doesn't surprise me, as I was asking, like, hey, what are the ingredients? What are they going to put in? And this particular one, they were putting cheese in. So I was like, I know I'm not going to eat it, but I'm happy to make it. And he's like, oh yeah, we'll put a little bit of sugar. And so I'm curious, what's a little bit of sugar? Well, when you got a 500-liter pot, 2 buckets. So I'm talking like, you see, like, so this is half a bucket. So I'm talking like, you guys can't, for those who don't visually, you can't see, but I'm talking like 2 big sand buckets full of sugar. But I guess with a thing that's, the size of a small bedroom, that's just like a couple of teaspoons. But yeah, so surprised, not surprised, I don't know, but it was fun to just like, stir the ingredients and be a part of that.
That sounds really fascinating. Like the pots are on train tracks because nobody can lift them. Even if they're
No.
empty, you can't lift them. So they have train tracks for the food. And just to
Yeah.
go to the very beginning of the story, that interests me a little bit. Like, how did you end up in the kitchen? Like, you noticed you were sharing that you were observing these menial works happening throughout the couple of first days, and then Gauranga Prabhu said, "Meet me at 7 in the kitchen." How come that invitation came from him? Like, did you ask?
No, no, that was divinely arranged.
I would
I
love
knew, I knew I wasn't going to leave the retreat without doing some menial service, but his invitation made it easy.
it
And
happen because you can
exactly.
offer.
I did another thing. I mean, that was part of what contributed to my cold, I think. They had on this one particular day, it was a very special day. It was quite amazing. And because they emailed everybody before and they said, "Hey, on this particular day, we're going to have tons of little cooking stoves set up." And they had, here's a list of ingredients, and they had like 350 different ingredients because we're talking about Indian dishes here. And they're like, here's the ingredients we got. you can sign up and prepare a dish. So they had, it was like this outdoor cooking, and everybody's doing it like old school over an open fire. And so I went in there to see everybody cooking these different offerings. And I think that's where I kind of actually breathed in lots of smoke. And but the point being, I guess, yeah, I was just like observing these different ways to serve. And I mean, I could have got by. I mean, this is how the mind works. Like, so many people came up to me and are like, "Oh, hey, you did you're that Happy Jack guy. You did the Bhakti Yoga conference." And so then they would ask me questions of like, "Hey, about yoga and about different things." So I felt like, so I started telling myself, this is my service. I'm connecting with people, and I'm sharing ideas, and it is a service. But this is the idea. It's not really like a menial service, like a real basic, back to basics. So that's why I was happy to stir the pots and make the sugary non-vegan dish that I didn't eat, but I enjoyed for an hour and a half stirring it.
That was a good workout, I bet.
It was, yeah. The others, oh, there's the ego shows up because, yeah, others were getting tired, and I was priding myself like, I'm a yogi. I'm not getting tired. But yeah, it definitely was hard work.
Mm.
And Radhanath Swami himself would come in. In fact, he came in and he went around to all the different areas. And then when he came over, happy, or actually, he gives me a big, huge hug, and grabs the canoe paddle out of my hand. And, he stirs it himself for a little while and said, "Hey, I'll be back." And I got back yesterday. He's arriving here a week after me. But just, nice to see him as well, going and doing all these different services. Yeah, but just really, really sweet to be in good association, good music, good people, good food. I don't know how well, now I do know how they do it because I was the one stirring it. But to make that much food for that many people, and it's so good. Like, we're not just talking about slopping together some runny dal and some boring rice. It's like the flavors, it's like the right. It's like, how you can make plain rice, or you can make like Indian rice with walnuts and spices and sauces, and it just comes alive, and you just don't want to stop eating it. It's so good. But the fact that they could do that on a scale, it just shows their commitment and their to mastering it. They're most of them are engineers, and they've got it all dialed in and calculated, and they've got high standards.
Plus, they make it with love.
Yeah, forgot about that. Yeah, I got to meet the priests. So they're literally, offering it up to the divine, preparing the food. That's the whole thing, and everybody in there is just so happy and joyful, and so for an hour and a half I was just smiling and laughing and talking and making and stirring.
Yeah, I saw a video of that. That looked really, really fun.
Yeah, somebody shared a little clip. Yeah, and you just never know. It was another that was a time we got to chat with Radhanath Swami, and then the very first day when I arrived there, it's pitch black. I mean, well, I don't know, pitch black, but it's dark. It's been dark for a couple hours, and I'm standing on a dark road with no light, and I'm talking to a friend, who's from Calcutta down in the south, and I'm just kind of asking him. I'm like, "Hey, it's my first time at a big event like this. What advice would you have for me? What tip?" And he's like, "Jack, this is going to be intense in a way. Like, there's going to be there's long days, the early morning spiritual practice, and then all day long we go on bus trips to all these sacred sites. And then Radhanath Swami does lectures in kirtan every evening." And he said, "My advice is, do everything you can. If you need to miss a session here or there, but don't miss the chance to have the association of Radhanath Swami." And just as he said Radhanath Swami, I feel like almost like football tackle, not a tackle, that's an exaggeration, but all of a sudden Radhanath Swami comes and gives us a big huge hug. He just happened to be walking by the road going to do a sound check, and it just like so divinely that he's just telling me about like the most important thing. And it could have been that we wouldn't even see him the whole time because 12,000 people,
Like he's
and then the fact that he said the name, and he just like shows up out of the dark, it was pretty funny.
yeah, like this is the facilitator of this pilgrimage of 12,000
Mm,
people, the main person. That's who
yeah.
tackles you in the middle of the night as you talk about him. That's quite magical.
Yeah. And I just feel like it's just many, many little magical moments like that from the conversations and just like sitting. I think that's my favorite thing to do. And that's what I look forward to doing when the Sarah and George and Cece and Renee and many others who are not live here are here in India, is when we get to just sit down and have a meal together, you know, get to know each other, share heart to heart, break bread, as they say. And like those are some of the, like, of course being in program or in session is inspiring, and taking notes, and there's connection there, but there's something about just like having a meal together, not rushed. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah, that is amazing. So now that you came back from this pilgrimage, what's on your
Yeah.
agenda now? What are you going to do until we arrive?
You got like, I got so many things. Well, the first priority is getting everything organized for the retreat. um yeah, that's, I think, like the main thing. I just had a massage today, went to the Ayurvedic clinic, so I'm feeling blissed out. The masseuses are still amazing as ever. So I got to meet with, there's a new person who's managing there, so I got to meet him, and he seems excellent. And so now we will meet and we'll schedule, because we've got, not 12,000, but we've got 42 yogis who are coming together. And so to schedule so that everybody has a massage and everybody has a consultation with the Ayurvedic doctor, and to do it when we're on break, but not having the massage and the Ayurvedic consultation at the same time. So just kind of building out that schedule, building out the whole week long schedule based on who's here. Because again, there's like so many people that I want to introduce, but not everybody's going to be available at exactly the right time. So just building out the schedule based on who's available. Some really smart people, like people who are younger than me, just by a year or two, but who are a bit younger than me, and they know, they're way wicked smarter. They can even speak English better. They're way smarter, and it's just, you're just gonna love them. Even by the time I pass in 50 years, I won't be as smart as they are now. They're just so damn smart. And so, and like, but it's not just like intellectual. It's like really, they really make it accessible and relatable and meaningful. And so I'm excited for everybody to meet these different people.
And what are these people going to do with us? Like lectures or what?
Different things, I mean, the two that I'm just talking about who are, wicked smart, I'm going to use them for lectures for sure. Some I think some really spiritually inspiring conversations to get us thinking, addressing the bigger questions of life. What is the purpose of life, and who am I, and what happens after we die, and why are we on this spiritual path? Like, it's so utilizing them. The one guy who's kind of my best friend, who doesn't really speak English, but he's just such a great positive guy. He's going to take us for a hike, for those that want to go for a hike. Another is, others will come and share music, like some kirtan and their story. And I think that's just like the Bhakti Yoga conference. That's what so many people come up to me and say what they loved about it was that we got to know the speakers. And so I think that's what we'll do with the people here. Instead of just like start lecturing or start singing, let's get to know them. What brought you to your spiritual practice? And then that it just creates a nice connection before the music or the lecture.
I love that. Can you just repeat, is your best friend and you can't speak to each other?
Yeah, that's precise. Yeah, so it's great. This Chat GPT. Thanks, George, for the tip on AI. Um, so just it's great. Like I just type in a message. Like I'll do it right now. So I'm recording. Write a message to Bhadra Nitai Prabhu in both English and Marathi, and ask him where is the weightlifting equipment that used to be on the second floor of the Brahmachari ashram. It's not there anymore. Where do I find it? Happy Jack. And then hit enter. So anyway, Chat GPT, I just say write it. I do it in English and in Marathi, which is like Devanagari, like you wouldn't even be able to pronounce it. And then I send it to him. So I send both because then he gets to learn a bit of English, but he can read it perfectly in Marathi. But actually, when we're together, he can speak probably a little bit better than I can speak Finnish. So he can say something. It's just not great.
Yeah. And then body language and sign language. I'm sure
Yeah.
you guys can have deep conversations
You
anyways.
know what? You mentioned that. I flew here yesterday from Delhi to Mumbai, and long story short, went to check my bag in. It was overweight, so I had to bring it over and pay a couple of rupees. And when I went to the counter, the guy is so nice, and I said something, but he didn't say something back, and he got out a board and started writing. And then I noticed he had a pin, and he said like I can't speak and I can't hear, but I'm happy to help, And then he was writing to me on this little scratch pad, and it was so easy to communicate with him. And so, a couple of things he wrote on the pad, but so much he was able to be like, just like tapping his wrist or pointing to something or like a yes or a no or, money kind of, do you want money or do you want to take some things out of the bag? And it's like, I can understand this guy perfect. I think, but obviously he's mastered communication. He's mastered nonverbal communication. And so, to your point, right, we kind of figure it out.
Yeah. That's so fun. I love that.
Yeah.
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 Well,
And by the way, that message I'm going to send to Badrunitai Prabhu because I'm going to the gym tomorrow, but it wasn't there. So I got to find out where they moved it to. Um, but yeah, it's just lots happening the next, I guess, 10 days or 12 days until everybody shows up. But that's the main thing. I mean, lots of projects. I'll be writing the eventual book and planning the Bhakti Yoga Conference and meeting with Radhanath Swami when he arrives to plan that. But for the main priority, of course, is getting ready to welcome all of you.
is Radhanath Swami doing something with us when we come?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. He's got to go to. We got to figure out the dates because he's actually got to go away for a wedding. Sounds funny. He's a monk, but a longtime friend is getting married somewhere in India, so he's going to be away for some days. But definitely, he'll be meeting with the group, so we'll figure out when that is.
Fun.
Yeah. But how about you, Hanna? In these last moments, what are you looking forward to? What are you most excited about um, when it comes to returning to Mother India?
Well, first, I'm leading the trauma informed yoga teacher training this week. Every morning, we meet for a sharing circle. And then I'm going to Switzerland or Liechtenstein this weekend to meet one of my best friends on this planet.
Yeah.
And when it comes to India, then I come back to Norway in order to leave for India. And I will fly to India together with our photographer from Finland. I'll meet him in Istanbul, and then we'll fly together to Mumbai and get ready for everyone to join us. I really look forward to India. I always feel like India has its own magic. We'll all arrive there, but then Mother India takes care of everything and everyone. Like we're this carried by this energy that sustains us all, and it's a whirlwind. And the biggest blessing, we always leave home transformed and transformed permanently in a beautiful, energetic way. You know,
Yeah,
almost like yeah, it's a huge blessing to be there.
totally.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's I think one of my favorite parts is, being together in person. I mean, I love that. I love get to see Rita now, and our new friend Sarah in Switzerland, and our old friend Sue, not old age, but old friend, longtime friend, and many others down the line. But it is really nice to be together in person. And you mentioned Lauri, right? Our dear friend from Finland, and can't wait for you guys to meet him. Like he's just such an awesome guy, awesome, awesome guy. And that's that, we could say that about all of you. And so then to be together and practicing yoga and sit beside someone different every day, that's a rule that we have, right? Find a different spot in the circle, sit beside somebody new, get to know someone new, and different people to have lunch with and dinner and breakfast. Yeah, Cece says the hugs, starting out every day. I think that's the part that's super special, is just being together in that way. And that's the yoga. That's the thing that we love and we live for. And and as you say though about Mother India, there's something about this land. It's like you can't, it's undeniable. It's like it's palpable. It changes us. It changes you. And it reveal. It's like it breaks down, breaks apart, breaks away. Anything that's just kind of not serving us, and create space for something new.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be so beautiful, and it's true what you said about the community coming together. Like everybody is so incredible. Just to be
Yeah.
together is such a gift. And then add the super magical powers of Mother India to that. Often we like we call these like hug fests. It's just like a festival of
Hmm.
people hugging and connecting and having the most amazing time together. It's such a gift.
Which could sound, you know, strange. Like if you're listening to this and you've never been to a program with us, right? It's like if we said everything, yeah, you're going to be hugging sweaty people, and you're going to be staring into strangers' eyes, and you're going to be holding hands, and you're going to dance together, and you're going to sing. And some people might be hearing this and be like, this is weird, man. I'm out of here. And if I'd be the first one on my way out the door, just hearing that verbal description. But then there's just something about being in the space, and our friend Sue is like, "It's awesome, CC. I need it." It's Yeah, when it's done in just like an authentic way, right? Like it's not. It's just everybody just gets to be themselves, and
Yeah.
that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah,
So
there's
stay tuned.
yeah. I was gonna say there's like a sense of vulnerability and authenticity to it,
Hmm.
simultaneously, even if there's a lot of happy hugging and dancing, and but there's a lot of deep vulnerability as well. We talk about real things and and share our hearts as each of us feels is appropriate for them, and that's part of the healing. But then there's the spiritual practice and the environment that we're going to be in that are deeply transformational.
Yeah. Yeah. So for those who are joining, can't wait to welcome you. For those who are not coming and not coming this year, it's totally cool. We'll still got one more podcast next week. And 2 weeks from now, we're actually doing a live podcast from the retreat. So that's like the the one session where the one session where we're going to come together as a group. And there's a podcast studio here. I don't know how big it is. So either if we might do it in the podcast studio or a separate room, but that would be like the one live call that we'll do, and we'll bring up, and then you get to meet. Well, I mean, you could meet Sarah and George now, and Cece and Renee, but we're going to be in the same room together and get to hear their reflections and their experiences from the retreat. So that'll be 2 weeks from today. Join. Feel free to join.
Yeah.
But yeah, episode 150 in the wraps. It's bedtime here in India, but like heart is full, so excited. Can't wait to be together with many of you soon. And I mean, we got calls. Like I'll be leading Business of Yoga Thursday, Sunday be leading satsang and the 200 hour, and then like we're full on leading calls. So there'll be many more reflections, and love to hear from all of you as well. But thank you for your time, Hanna. Sending love to the great country of Norway. Did you say there was someone from Norway here? If there was, because I've got my Finland and Norway tattoos there. Can't really see it well.
Well,
Who is from Norway?
I meant myself.
Is that Lisa? Oh no, yourself. Duh, of course. Okay. Because we have had students who are from Norway as well.
Yeah.
But let's wrap it up. So that's it. Amazing. Episode 150. Thank you so much. Sending huge love, high vibes. Rita, Sarah and George, Sarah, Sue, Cece, Tara, Tanya, Renee, Team Scotland. Make it an amazing day. Namaste.
Namaste, friends.